Thanks for expressing an interest in our formula and recipe management solution for Aras Innovator. We'll be going through a slide presentation of the screenshots actually from the solution. There's a little bit of information about PSC Group and the things that we do and offer, the global delivery capabilities that we have, the fact that we focus on business and the people within the business over technology. And the solution that we'll be presenting today is a consumer goods company. They're a private label food company, actually. And it's all based on Microsoft technology and our consulting services and some open source capabilities as well. The solution is all centered around an item master file where you have finished goods, WIP items, packaging items, and raw materials. Off of finished goods, you'll have recipes, and off of WIP items, you'll have formulation and the formula master. On the finished goods screen for the finished good item here, the screens for all of the items are divided to where the top panel is specific to the type of item, be it a finished good or a WIP or a package or a raw material. And then the bottom section of the screen is really about related information. Here at the top, you'll see, as with all the items, you'll have a status and a number and a description, but then you'll also have specific information about that particular item. There's a standard bill of materials, which is out-of-the-box kinds of functionality within Innovator. It shows you that there's a case or a box. There's a carton that the product resides in. There's also a WIP item, a manufactured item itself. Going to the WIP item, immediately you can see that the information in that top panel has expanded. There's additional properties around that, not only the status, number, and description. There's also information about a die and a formula, cook time, and the category of that particular item. There's properties about that WIP item based on the manufacturing process that WIP item goes through. So at different points in the process, you can identify what your properties are. There's quality properties as well, which gets more into the quality control. So you have microbiological, you'll have defect, and you'll have chemical properties. There's a large number of different properties that you can define, and we're only showing you a few of those here. This company produces pasta, and at a very high level, pasta is a flour semolina mix with water. It's extruded through a die, and then it is cut to a specific length. So they have decided to, and what we've built into this is the ability to track information about that die or that shape. It's basic information about the die as far as the thickness of it, the thickness of the product as it is extruded through the die, and the width and the diameter and those types of things. When we're back here at the WIP item, we also associate a specific formula with a WIP item. That formula has nutritional claims that can be made about that particular formula. There's sensory properties, so on whether you see it or smell it or taste it, those kinds of things that we're capturing there as well. We also track the nutritional information for this particular formula. This formula, regardless of the shape of pasta that it gets extruded through, a serving size will always have these nutritional values. There's a press formulation, which is a variation of a bill of materials. In this particular formula, they are blending a semolina or a flour with a spinach powder, and they're also blending a tomato powder with a semolina and flour. It's running down two different sides of an actual pasta press. And they don't base their bill of materials on quantities. They're actually doing that based on a volumetric rate. And so we're able to show that configuration of that product here. When we get back to the WIP item, we also have a combination of a formula extruded through a die gives us a value where we determine what the cook time of that pasta is. So regardless of what the package size is for the finished good, whether it's a 1 pound or a 6 pound bag, the cook time for serving will always be the same for a particular cut of pasta with a particular formula. When we go back to the finished good item, one of the things that we have done is, in addition to showing you the bill of materials, in the bottom portion of the screen, we're also in the top portion of the screen capturing what the primary packaging item is, which can be either a film or a carton, and we're capturing the secondary packaging item, which is a box or a case. So from a primary packaging perspective, we capture information like the target weight. Each package will have a target weight. This particular one is a 1 pound carton. That information on that weight is displayed either by ounces or by pounds or by grams at the bottom there, and it's tied to a target weight ID. In the top portion, we have the packaging net weight statement, which is right above the barcode. That is a statement then that can be used on any sort of reporting and even be pulled and sent to the artwork developer for the packaging artwork if we choose to do so. The barcode, in this particular case, is an image. They are in a position where on the packaging floor, on the production floor, where they are beginning to pull images of the whip item that is coming down the production line. They're also looking at the carton image, which is in the top left-hand corner of your screen there, that's sitting on a flat pallet, because their packaging assets will fold that carton. And then they also have a barcode. So the plan is to be able to scan the barcode to ensure that we have the proper packaging item at the end of the line and that we're able to see the whip item as well as coming down the line. It's a way to visually ensure that we are packing out the proper product. They're capturing the colors, just packaging color information that's on the carton itself. This information actually comes right off of the PDF document that they use for proofing that I'll show you here in just a moment. That PDF document can be attached to this particular item number, just like you can attach any other file format, a spreadsheet, a Word document, a drawing, a JPEG image, a video, anything that you would want to associate or attach to this particular item, you can actually attach here in the Artifacts tab. Every item within the system has an approved supplier. So from raw materials to packaging items, be it secondary or primary packaging cases or cartons or film. Even in the situation where we have co-packed items, we can identify that a whip item is produced by an approved supplier. This approved supplier here happens to be their artwork supplier, and there's a link that takes you right to the supplier management aspect of the solution. General information about that supplier from vendor number to name and address, and also their website, and we captured their logo as an image here. You can actually link to their website from this screen should you choose to click on the icon that is circled down there. Every supplier may have one or more plants or locations, and they happen to approve their supplier locations, not the supplier themselves. But here in this particular case, there's one location that they go to. You can also associate multiple contacts for the supplier. We allow them to manage information about those contacts. Very simple contact management. If you have the email address for that contact, you're actually able to click here, open up your email application, and send them an email straight from here, rather than going to your address book someplace and looking them up. You can perform that function from this location here. When we get back to the finished good, and a core component within Aras Innovator is the where used function. And it will give you a hierarchical chart of where that item is used within the Innovator solution. On this screen here, you can see that there's not only recipes, but there's also complaints. So we're going to show you the recipes. There's another module that deals with complaints that we won't be going over today. But we can see everywhere where this finished good is being used within the system. As we go to the recipe module or functionality here that we developed for the marketing group, this recipe is specifically associated with that finished good item. There's a name, there's a description of it, and all the preparatory types of things. There's also an ingredient panel there in the middle. So this is a different look and feel to a bill of materials. Whereas on the finished good item, you see a bill of materials, it's more of a grid layout. We have a box and a case and a whip item, then we have quantities. Here you have an ingredient list, which is really giving you the measure of what ingredient that you need. It's in more of a free format text form. And then directions about preparing this particular recipe. Down at the bottom, you can see that there's some marketing information that we've pulled together as far as when the recipe was created, who has rights to this, where it's being used, if it's in the web or it's just internally on packaging or both. And we also have a website link to this particular recipe that's out on their website. That if you clicked, it would take you right to that point. On the SKUs tab here, it's just showing you that the particular SKU that's associated with this recipe. If there were multiple SKUs, and actually there are, so any SKU that would happen to be in linguine could potentially be associated with this particular recipe. There's an alternatives recipe tab here. So linguine isn't just for, a steak dinner. It's also for like a seafood pasta or a shrimp and Alfredo sauce or any other recipe that can use the linguine. And those can be identified here as those recipes are developed. Again, just as we did with the formulation, we had nutrition. Here we've allowed them to enter in nutritional information about this particular recipe. A word of caution, though, is that from a regulatory perspective, this company is only required to provide nutritional information about their product, which is the pasta. If they were going to actually provide nutritional information about this particular recipe, they would hire an outside independent firm to go out and prepare the recipe and do the nutritional analysis and provide them a certified statement back that here are the nutritional measures of a serving of Dad's favorite steak dinner. It's a matter of understanding how much risk a company is willing to take upon themselves. And in this particular case, we've just allowed them the opportunity to provide that information to a consumer versus actually tracking it. There's an images tab, which actually allows you to associate one or more images to a recipe. In this particular case, there's two images. One is a high-resolution image that is provided by their marketing and sales group. The other one is a JPEG image of that high-res that they can actually use that on their websites or that they could print on internal reports and those types of things. Coming back to the finished good item, we'll look at the secondary packaging item, which is a box or a case. Again, if you'll notice, that top panel has changed to being specific for a box or a case. There's shelf dimensions that are here. There's group tech code, which we're going to get to here in just a moment. But down the bottom, there is information that is specific for a box that not all items would have. So there's a basis weight, and there's an edge crush, there's die cut lines, those types of things. Going to the group tech code, they categorize all their products based on a group tech code. So it gives them some information as far as how a case is supposed to be packed or how the pallet is supposed to be stacked. So your group tech code here has, not only the code itself, but it has an associated type of pasta that they call an area and a description. It has a revision as far as the revision of that particular package. Down in the bottom section there, you'll see that there's some case pack information. There's an image that we've associated with it, and that image shows that there are 5 cartons going from right to left, and there are 4 cartons going from front to back, and that pack is only 1 high. So we have 20 cartons that are going into that particular case. There's dimensional information about the inside and the outside, and then there's some pallet information down there at the bottom as well. It gives you your stack patterns. So in this particular case, there are 20 boxes, and they are stacked 4 high, and it gives you the length and the width and the inside and outside and pallet sizes and the total weight, those types of things. And we've allowed for information like whether there's slip sheets that go between the pallet and the cases, or if there's tier sheets that go between each level of the cases that are stacked. And then if they require a top cap, or in other situations where they require corner rails. That is an overview of what we've developed for a particular client. It's showing you just that there's multiple ways to define and manage a bill of materials. The recipe functionality uses one of those types of bill of material management types of processes, which is through ingredients and is tied to a finished good. And then we also have nutritional information in multiple places as well. I want to thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to go out and contact us. Go out to our website and take a further look, and we'd be more than happy to help you with any questions you may have in your future needs with the formula and recipe management.